When I speak to you in the morning like this, right now, my head is going to explode. And the reason why it's going to explode is I see and hear everything that's going on at the same time. I see 5 different topics, and those 5 different topics involve 5 other topics. And if you keep going in and you keep homing in, you never get to the solution. You just have new issues that you have to deal with. It's almost like the Mandelbrot's fractals. You just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. I have a dear friend of mine. I'm not going to mention his name, but he is one of the greatest fire marshals you've ever heard. Worked for the FDNY for years. He's a dear friend of mine. And his expertise is arson, in particular, among other things. But arson, absolutely. If you had a movie, and thank you, if you had a movie and you had to cast the greatest investigator, he is it. And he and I have talked about it many times. And let me give you an example of something. When you talk about arson, okay, let's just take that. Arson. Okay? You want to look at it. Do you want to prevent arson? Stop arson. 2 completely different things. It's like a pathology. You want to prevent cancer? Stop cancer. Cure cancer. 2 different things. Okay, so right now, I'm into 2. Prevention and addressing the treatment. Now, let's talk about prevention. How do you prevent? Well, first of all, why do people commit arson? Now we have another directory. The reason why, the motivation behind. Why do people commit arson? Why? What is this thing? Why do they love to commit arson? Well, there are different financial reasons. Okay, financial. Then there may be psychological. You get the firebug, the pyromaniac. So already I've started with just a very simple thing, arson, and I've gone into this many categories. This is prevention. I haven't even talked to how do you detect it. I haven't even gotten there yet. I'm not even there yet. I'm still breaking it down into what does it, what's the motivation, what's the mentality, how do we stop it? Then we get to, okay, let's deal with it. How do we detect it? How do we figure it out? Every issue is like that. But here's the best part. You and I know we live in a world that doesn't want that. We live in a world where people do not like to think about that. That's a lot of heavy lifting. That's a lot of stuff that people don't really want to talk about. It's too much. Too much thinking. What does that mean? I thrive on that. I am telling you the story and the issue that is the most mind-boggling, where I just sit and I just close my eyes and think, oh my God, it's not the rabbit hole. I hate that phrase, but I go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. It's artificial intelligence. Oh my God. We're talking about it again. I've tried at best, and it never really catches on because I think people still think that's robots or something. I don't know. I don't know what that story is, but maybe they don't get it. So what I'm trying to tell you right now is we're going to be talking about things today. We're going to be talking about the issue, but why, the motivation, the psychology, the sociology, the background, the way people think. How do we get people to change their mind? How do we win? How do we win politically? We always have to talk about who are our opponents. Why did they think this way? It's like, think about the opponents as the arsonist. Why did they think that? What motivates them? There's that damn thing again. What do we have to do to understand, to identify, to target, to deal with, to bring them back, to treat? So my friends, get ready. Let me remind you, February 22nd at the Cutting Room. Ticket information is available here in the little description section. But first, this important word. You know, when it comes to comfort, support, and a good night's sleep, my friends, My Pillow has revolutionized the way millions of Americans rest their heads with unmatched quality, cutting-edge design, and a commitment to American-made excellence. My Pillow has become a household name. And now with mypillow.com/Lionel or using the promo code Lionel, you can unlock exclusive discounts and deals that bring comfort and savings right to your doorstep. That's right, my friend. Mike Lindell and the team in MyPillow aren't just selling pillows. They're on a mission to transform the sleep experience with a wide variety of products beyond their signature pillows. Whether you're looking for supportive adjustable pillows, luxurious Giza dream sheets, cozy towel, mattress toppers that cradle your body in comfort, MyPillow offers it all. And with their 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty, you can be confident that MyPillow stands behind every product they sell. Now, why MyPillow stands out? Let me tell you, unlike generic pillows you grab off a department store shelf, MyPillow is customizable and engineered to cater to different sleep styles. Whether you're a side sleeper or a back sleeper or a stomach sleeper, their patented interlocking fill technology adjusts to your specific comfort needs, keeping your neck and spine properly aligned throughout the night. No more waking up with that sore neck, no more tossing and turning, just the restful, rejuvenating, and exhilarating sleep that you deserve. And it doesn't stop at pillows. MyPillow's Giza Dream Sheets, made from the finest Egyptian cotton, offer a smooth, breathable, and luxurious feel, turning your bed into a sleep heaven. So right now, my friends, do the right thing. Go to mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. It's easy for me to say, mypillow.com, promo code Lionel, or call 800-645-4965. Simply the best. Trust me. Let me talk about this woman by the name. Her name is Letitia James. Letitia James is the Attorney General for New York City. And Letitia James is doing some things which is very, very frightening. Letitia James is warning New York hospitals. And this is important. This is really important. She is warning New York hospitals that prematurely pausing gender-affirming care. Let me stop right there. Give me the power of euphemisms. Let me change. This is classic Orwellian. The power of doublespeak. Nobody wants a used car. They want a pre-owned. We've been through this before. Are you fat? I'm full-figured. You've been through this, right? Sounds better. Let me change the word, and I'll change the concept. Remember, propaganda is not to change you, but the way you believe in reality. It's a different thing completely. I hope you received my newsletter. Went out this morning regarding USAID. We'll get to that in a moment. But Tish James told hospitals that prematurely pausing gender-affirming care. Gender-affirming care, what does that mean? Castration, mutilation. Gender-affirming care. Affirming. If I want to affirm your gender, you know the best thing I should do? Leave it alone. Don't touch it. That's the best way to affirm it. It's supposed to be changing it, cutting it, ablating it, incising it, slicing, dicing, chopping, filleting. That's not how you affirm anything. But they said if you prematurely pause gender-affirming care for transgender minors in compliance with a recent executive order by President Trump, you could be violating state law. Did you hear what I just said? Did you hear what I just said? This woman needs to be arrested. This needs to be arrested for deliberately violating, being held in contempt of court by telling people do not comply with the federal order. What do I say that? Why do I say that? Because of this wonderful concept called the Supremacy Clause. The Supremacy Clause basically says feds are supreme. You cannot violate, you cannot vitiate, you cannot neutralize, you cannot end a particular edict or imprimatur, a fiat, anything. You cannot do that regarding a federal law without breaking the law. Does that make any sense to you? Does that make any sense? I think it does. There's a good reason. It makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. So this is what's happening right now. It's the most important thing in the world. It is going on right as we speak. Trump's January 28th executive order, one of several dozen the president signed during his first days back in office. Try 8 days afterwards. Remember, yesterday was 2 weeks. He has done more. President Trump has done more in 2 weeks than that numbnuts, than that colossal, this lobectomy, not a lobotomy, a lobectomy victim has done in 4 years. But this is one of the presidential signing, the orders signed by the president. And it broadly targets federal support for transition-related care for transgender children and teenagers up to 19 years old. It directs federal agencies to block government funding for medical institutions, including medical schools and hospitals, that provide puberty blockers, hormones, and surgery to youth, causing some facilities to suspend, kind of the way Canada was brought to their knees, and Mexico, to suspend gender-affirming care preemptively over fear that they will be stripped of federal dollars. You hear what I'm saying? Now, Letitia James is the woman who, as you know, ran for, she ran under the promise that she would get Trump, Remember that. This is the woman. This was we're gonna put him in jail. We're gonna get Trump. You're gonna get Trump. We're gonna get Trump. So she's warning local hospitals, don't do this. This was yesterday. Don't you do this. She said you'll be in violation of state discrimination laws if you comply with President Trump's federal executive order outlawing sex change. They call it gender affirming. You can always tell where you are by virtue of the. Years ago, we used to always say, you can always tell what neighborhood you're in if you see Newport or menthol cigarette ads on the billboards. Think that's nonsense? Absolutely not. If you're driving along and all of a sudden there was an ad for Colt 45, why? Because they're not going to waste money putting it in ads unless the particular targeted demographic is known. It's that simple. A friend of mine told me years ago, he said, if ever you go to a 7-Eleven and you see hot ketchup, Heinz, I think it was hot ketchup, run. Read into it what you must, my friend. Pay attention to what I'm saying. This is some of the most important stuff right now that is available. And this is what the president must do something, because he despises, and for good reason, Tish James. He despises Tish James, and for good reason. He despises her. This is a woman who brought a case under that weird Judge Engeron. This was a case that she brought where she said, she claimed that Trump was, he violated, it wasn't a criminal law, it was a civil law, which in essence, and this still amazes me, it said that he violated the law by either overvaluating, overpricing, over his various retail or his commercial properties or otherwise. And people said, wait a minute. It is the bank that determines what the particular appraisal value is. You can say it's worth $1 billion. That's not against the law. That's not against the law. Pilgrim Media says the sword of Damocles is over Letitia James. I hope that's what I'm calling for. I hope it is. She doesn't seem to be worried about it. Raul Rodriguez says mutilation can be called pre-owned person. Okay, interesting. I guess one could use that perhaps. Now let me stop. Using my friend, let's stop and see what we're doing here. Oh, by the way, let me give you a little bit more of the news. Let me give more of the information here. She wrote in a letter to the New York healthcare facilities. This is what she wrote. Quote, regardless of the availability of federal funding. By the way, available online. Greatest. Look at that. Look at that new artwork. Look at that. Regardless of the availability of federal funding, we write to further remind you of your obligations to comply with New York state laws, including those that prohibit discrimination against individuals based on their membership in a protected class, such as sex, gender, identity, or expression, sexual orientation, race, creed, color, national origin, citizenship or immigration status, military status, disability, or marital status. This is what she wrote. My question to you was, number one, is the president necessarily going after people because of their particular status, or is he saying it is this surgery that I'm going after? I don't care who this surgery is. A straight person could decide, for whatever reason, to have this sex change operation. A person could be doing it for reasons that has nothing to do with their status, either under a sexual orientation, race, creed, color, national origin, citizenship, immigration status, military status, disability, marital status. They might be able to do it because they want it. I have an appendectomy. Why? Because I want it removed. She writes, quote, electing to refuse services to a class of individuals based on their protected status, such as withholding the availability of services from transgender individuals based on their gender identity or their diagnosis of gender dysphoria, while offering such services to cisgender individuals, is discrimination. Why would somebody provide, listen to this, why would somebody provide, I don't really understand how this works, gender affirming or these particular types of surgeries to a cisgender individual, meaning somebody, you know what cisgender is, right? Cisgender is one of those words that nobody really understands. Cisgender is a word that describes your particular sexual orientation that you were told about when you were born. The orientation that is on your birth certificate. Why? Because you are a man or a female. That's it. It's the weirdest thing in the world. So yes, you are a cisgender because that's what you were told, and you were told this, and that's what appears on your gender, on your birth certificate. And you have elected to subscribe or adapt or agree to that particular typification or qualification or appellation or taxonomy or whatever you want to call it. How about I call myself a man because I am a man? No. It's because they told you were a man. Well, they told me I'm a man because I'm a man. I was born male. I had the various accoutrements, and that's it. No. No. Are you black because you were told you were black, or are you black because you're black? Go ahead, say it. James Brown, I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud. This is nonsense. This is gibberish. Absolutely gibberish. This is logorrhea. This is the same kind of stuff they gave us Gala. James, by the way, 66, I guess she's my age, urged anyone who witnesses potential violations to contact the New York Attorney General's office. Okay, good. Her letter comes as several hospitals around the country have already taken steps to cut out or cut back, interesting phrase, on so-called gender-affirming care in an apparent effort to comply with Trump's executive order. Quote, protecting children from chemical and surgical mutilation. The order threatens to withhold federal funding from hospitals that provide sex change treatment like puberty blockers and the like. The White House said it's already having its intended effect, preventing children from being maimed and sterilized by adults, perpetuating a radical false claim that they can somehow change a child's sex. The White House also pointed to New York City's NYU Langone Health, which has reportedly started canceling appointments for minors seeking transgender. Interesting. Isn't this wonderful? Now, let me explain to you this, my friends, and let me see if I could ask you a very simple question regarding this. Do you believe, ladies and gentlemen, that this type of behavior should be countenanced. Raul says we can call mutilation a switcheroo. Hilarity in its rawest form, sir. Thank you. What do you think is the reason for this lunacy? I ask you. Please tell me. Hang on. I'm sorry, I had to contact somebody. What motivates somebody? What motivates someone? What motivates someone to do this? Do you have children? At what? Remember when? They're very interesting. They have these wonderful questions. They don't really know certain things. They just don't know. Barry says, I ask myself why they're pushing this agenda. That is exactly the reason. You see, Barry, this goes back to what I was saying. You have to ask yourself, what is the reason for this? What is the motivation? But let me ask you something. Children who don't know their favorite color, children who don't understand a lot of things. Children, sometimes, how many of you, dear friends, how many of you have been born with siblings of different genders? How many of you have, dear friend, you're a young gal, and you noticed you had an athletic ability. You were fast, strong, whatever. And what did they call you? A tomboy. You understand this? A tomboy. You understand what I'm saying here? Hang on just a second. How many times have you done that? Mr. Bookmark says, can James do this without consequences? Well, we will see. It depends upon, James, and thank you. It depends upon the president and what she does. But let me go back to what I'm saying. Sometimes there were girls who just said, they're growing up. I want to play with the boys. Okay, I'm athletic. Good. I'm a tomboy. I'm good. Okay, great. You understand what I'm saying? I want to see what's going on. Okay. I want to see. So I would say, great. Are they showing any type of gender predilection? No. Are they showing any kind of a particular? No. And when you have kids, as you know, you just let them be. They will say things. They'll say a lot of things. They'll say all kinds of stuff. Do you understand what I'm saying? They will say all kinds of stuff. They will say things like, I'm going to be a girl. Okay. I'm going to be a boy. Okay. All right. That's fine. Wonderful. Okay. Great. Terrific. Great. And you wait. And maybe they do. Maybe they do. Maybe they believe it. Maybe they don't. I don't know. But you are not. You are not going to have gender assortment, gender affiliation, gender segregation surgery that is being involved. How do I say this? It doesn't make any sense. We're not going to cut, snip, inject anything. You can't give a child a tattoo. You can't give a child a tattoo. If there's a little girl who is I remember one time there was a big deal where people would say, this little girl is having perhaps menstrual pain or something. And And the school nurse, when they used to have a school nurse, said she couldn't give the girl a midol or an aspirin or anything. Nothing without checking with the parent. It's a little midol. It's nothing. Oh, no, no, no. We're going on a field trip. Okay, I need your parents' consent. We're going to the museum. You can't go unless your parent consents. We're going to get in a ride. I just took a bus to get here. Yeah, but we're going to be going during the day. How come we didn't sign a consent to take the bus? I don't know. But if you want to go to the museum, you got to sign a consent. And if you want to go to the museum and take a midol, you got to take a consent. Hey, little Jimmy, guess what? You got to go home. You've got lice. Nurse, can you help me? No. Can't you give me some quell? No. Can't you nitpick my nits, be a nitpicker? No. I need your consent. But I've got lice. Go home. But genital surgery, somebody says, Mommy, I feel like a boy. Okay, off we go. Off we go. It is the most demented thing I've ever seen. Edie Crowley says, I remember telling a relative when I was 12 that I felt like I was a boy. I'm glad it wasn't taken seriously. But that's okay. Little kids can explore the notion of I feel like a boy. Does not mean I want to be like a boy. I've never understood this whole notion of having. In fact, Billy D. Williams a while back. Remember Billy D. Williams, Mr. Suave, Mr. whatever it was. During the course of his particular job as a sex symbol, Lando Calrissian and Lady Sings the Blues, and he said something to the effect where he said, I think as an actor, I am a part of, how do I say this? As an actor, I tap into the woman, I'm a woman or something. And somebody said, Billy D. Williams comes out as a woman. He said, I did not say that. He was furious. So anyway, here is the deal. This is a very simple thing. We're not talking about surgery. Honey, when you were a kid, did you have to get a doctor's permission to get your ears pierced? When I was growing up in Tamil, we had a lot of Cuban families, and the Cuban, the Cuban families sometimes would give babies pierced ears, little tiny babies. Okay. And people thought, isn't that, oh my God, it's your little pierced ear. Oh, I remember people at the time thinking, that is disgusting. These Cuban people and their crazy island voodoo. It's a pierced ear. It's a little tiny hole. Oh my, but you're piercing an ear? It's okay. You give a kid shots without you're piercing the skin with a shot. What are you talking about? They went crazy then. But now, I'm not going to pierce your skin. I'm going to pierce your soul. I'm going to pierce your sense of identity. I'm going to pierce, destroy, ablate, excise, incise, amputate, and remove. It is bullshit. I cannot believe what you're saying. And I want to sit down and say, Letitia, James, sit down. Close the door. Tish, I promise you, I will not repeat what you tell me. Do you really believe this? She will tell you, no. Do you honestly believe that a school should be able to do this? By the way, stop everybody. It's Chuck Landreth says, is it to set precedent that minors can consent? Chuck, you are so good. You are so bright. It goes without saying. It is a precursor to eliminating the status of minor. We have when you reach the age of majority, you are an adult, not minority. Under law, you are a minor. And a minor cannot marry, sign the contracts, do a host of things that whatever. Okay, fine. But you're absolutely right. That's a part of it. But if I said to Letitia, do you have any name? I don't know if she's married or gay, or I don't know if that matters. I always wonder because that has a. Well, she received a standing ovation at 35th Annual GLAAD Media Awards. We don't know. It doesn't really matter, but I'm always curious. She's very, very. I'm trying to think. I don't know. In the old days, gay was like, okay. I swear to you, I remember this my whole life. People say he's gay. All right. He's gay. Okay. Remember when we were kids and we had people like, oh God, we had people like Paul Lynde. Remember when you were kids? You remember Paul Lynde? We said, that's Paul Lynde. Okay. But what is he? We thought, was he gay? I guess. He's kind of funny. It didn't matter. Now it's a different story. Anyway, but I sit down with Letitia James. I said, Letitia, do you really believe a child understands what this means? Like to have removed, to have things removed. Adults who have had mastectomies, prostatectomies, appendectomies, all kinds of ectomy. Remember ectomy? You know, versus cutting, lobotomy, lobectomy. Take the lobe out or just cut because you're, remember, through the lobotomy, they used to go to the eye and kind of jiggle around to cut the various connectors. We're not talking about that, but kind of. Letitia, do you really believe that a child should be able to do this? Answer me. Do you really believe that? She would say, of course not. Of course not. Of course not. Jamie Lee Curtis. What is Jamie Lee Curtis's story? Why is she pushing this? Now, Jamie Lee Curtis, I'm not going to go into detail, but Jamie Lee Curtis is one of these people that I've heard about all my life. And I don't know how or why, but I will tell you that she's had a very interesting story, Jamie Lee Curtis. Her life. Very, very, very interesting story. And she and these other group of people in Hollywood are fighting because they have a child who would have, fine. Do you think that part of the cabal, part of the group is that in order for you to be in this sick world, you have to sign on to this lunacy? I don't know. Cobb says James is vile and must be held accountable, period. I want to discuss this in greater detail. I think it's a critical issue. A very, very, very critical issue. But there's something that you have to be aware of, something that's very, very critical, something which I think is important. And that is simply this. My friend, disaster doesn't knock. It kicks the door down when you least expect it. And when it hits the fan, and trust me, it will, food is the first thing to disappear. Now, the question is this. Will you be prepared or will you be scrambling like everybody else? Okay? Now, think about what I'm saying. This is no exaggeration. I'm here to help. I'm here to give you the honest truth. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to help you. No one's going to be there. The shelves at your local store are going to be emptied within hours. And trucks that should be delivering food will be stuck miles away. You'll be left standing in endless lines, hoping for scraps. But there's something you can do right now. There's a way to stop this nightmare before it stops. Head to preparewithlionel.com. You heard me, preparewithlionel.com. And take advantage of the special monthly offer from My Patriot Supply. Now you can get $50 off the legendary 4-week emergency food kit when you order today. Listen, I can't be any more serious than this. Why My Patriot Supply? Simple. It's a household name for a reason. Millions of families trust them because their kits aren't just about survival. They're about thriving when others are barely holding on. This kit provides over 2,000 calories a day and 12 essential vitamins and minerals. That's the fuel that you're going to need when your body and mind are under incredible pressure. You get meals that taste great, are American made, and last up to 25 years in storage. These aren't bland bunker meals. They're designed to keep you strong and focused when it matters most. But here's the deal, my friend, and listen carefully. Emergencies don't wait, and neither should you. Prepare today or pay tomorrow. Go to preparewithlionel.com now and claim your $50 discount and 6 free bonuses right now before this limited time offer vanishes. I can't emphasize this enough, okay? Because when the world goes dark, preparation is the only light you can count on. Now, my friends, let me give you another example of something. This is very interesting. I saw this thing today, which came in. Mrs. L sent it to me. The 2025 Met Gala has a dress code and it's personal. The 2025 Met Gala is superfine tailoring black style. The 2025 exhibition as a Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute, superfine tailoring black style will explore the role of sartorial style in forming black identities, focusing on the emergence, significance, and proliferation of the black dandy. And dandyism can seem frivolous. Anyway, so you know, and Mrs. Ellis says this is very interesting, what this most probably will lead to is something very, very simple. What this will lead to, ladies and gentlemen, is women showing up as men, because it seems like we are not, how do we say this? Today, the emphasis is not to showcase or to highlight or to say, hey, isn't this an interesting thing regarding this particular aspect of life? Isn't this good? Isn't this fascinating? By the way, the word dandy, this is one of those words. Let me stop. Let me go back. I'm really backing up, but I want to tell you this. I have been fascinated by this idea of this thing called the dandy, the black, or not the black dandy, but the dandy. And the dandy is as follows. The dandy is this this notion, dare I say that, it's from Beau Brummel, and wearing a lot of bow ties and cane walking sticks, and it's fascinating. But it's there's this group called Pitti Uomo. This is in, I think it's Venezia every year, and this is where all of the fashion folks go. If you ever get into if you want to get into men's fashion, talk about suits. Forget American. But there are these definite styles. French suits, talk about just suits. French, Italian, that can be a little weird sometimes. And British. British, I think, is just the best. It's absolutely, for me, the way it just looks like, kind of like that Ralph Lauren, even that Tom Ford look. Okay, fine. Now, in Milan, which is really interesting, I'm saying this has nothing to do with Letitia James, but let me just tell you about this, because men, you might want to find this interesting. There is a group of people, there is a fashion group that is the most interesting of them all, and it is this group called Sprezzatura. And Sprezzatura is this great, it's fascinating. This is the kind of an organized and a deliberately not disheveled, somebody breaking the rules. What am I saying? The granddaddy of them all is Gianni Agnelli. This is the fellow who was Fiat and, all that stuff. And he was Mr. Italian, the aristocrat. the absolute playboy. There's no such thing as the playboy. Porfirio Rubirosa and we don't have this anymore. You've got sluts, tramps, degenerates, people who are just the worst. This is a different ideology. So anyway, so in Milan, they had this thing called sfrettatura. Why is that? Gianni Agnelli would do these things that were weird. He loved Brooks Brothers button-down shirts, and he would never button the button down. He wore his watch over the barrel of his cuff. He wore his watch over the cuff. And if ever you see that, that's Gianni Agnelli. And why did he do it? Because he's Gianni Agnelli. Gianni. You know how men are supposed to, your tie is supposed to supposedly come to the top of your waist, your belt? Nonsense. And the bottom tab is supposed to be behind. No, he had the bottom tab over. He had it spread out. He wore work boots with a suit. Sprezzatura. Just whatever you want. Deliberately. Okay, so you got that group. And from that, sort of, kind of, maybe was an offshoot, was the dandy, Oscar Wilde. Men in the old days would wear, how do I do this? They would dress in almost like in plumage. It was excessive. It was feathers, and well, that cut out, and then that became rather gay or effeminate. It took on a completely different mindset. A couple of years ago it was okay, then it wasn't. So what they're doing then you have these people who try desperately, who say, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna wear spats. I'm gonna wear I knew a guy who had a monocle, which I thought was pretty good. A monocle. Then pince nez, a riding crop, that kind of jazz. What this is not a celebration of black tailoring of no. This is somebody bending over. And now here we go back to Tish James, who's trying to get back to the notion of I'm bending over backwards to show you my inordinate connection to and with blackness, negritude, gayness, trans. I'm showing you, this is my membership card. I speak radical left progressive. I go crazy. I drop to my knees over the notion of somebody paying homage to something. Yes, transgender surgery, absolutely. Going back again to, this is Jamie Lee Curtis, married to Christopher Guest. What's his problem? Why does Warren Beatty, who are some of the other ones? Warren Beatty's, they've got a kid. Who else? Sandra Bullock. Charlize Theron, who? Jennifer Lopez. How is it that so many people, Ben Affleck's kid, how is it that so many people within the world of Hollywood have this disproportionate amount of children all enjoying this type of expression? It's phony, it's contrived, and if you ask me, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody said, like, we'll make a Faustian deal with you. We will ensure that you enjoy your status as a whatever it is, but you're going to have to be a part of our deal. By the way, a little heads up, not that it matters, I'm just curious. Robert Downey Jr., very talented. I still think Tropic Thunder was maybe one of his greatest acting pieces ever. He was on this disaster of a Broadway thing called, nobody even remembers his name, McLean or McDavid or McNeil. I can't remember the name of it. Nobody saw it. They thought they're going to go see Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man or whatever the hell he is. Nobody cared. It was nothing. Now they're saying he's going to be, or others are going to See, how much can we not pay for this, but pay for this? A Tony Award because I've got to get this. Okay, fine. He was the one who came up, but he's always kind of been, but he's part of that Hollywood thing. Who is? Oh, the American public. We know this. By the way, how come he got away with Tropic Thunder? How come he could do a blackface? Everybody loves. Nobody brought it up. Nobody cares. It's because he is the chosen one. He has been. But in order for you to be the chosen one, you make a deal with us. We'll help you, George Clooney. Maybe George Clooney's figured out. But you're going to owe us. It's Faustian. This is classic. You make a deal with the devil. And if somebody told me, Jamie Lee Curtis has never really, ever since whatever it was, because she's got a very interesting, and I'm just going to leave it at that. She has a very interesting story. A lot of them are myths, and I don't know. I can't verify one from the other. But why is she acting so hard? I don't understand this. It makes no sense. So what the president needs to do, ladies and gentlemen, the president has to come down and act swiftly and immediately and make sure that he tells everybody and shows everybody, you are not going to do this, Letitia James. You are not going to order people not to follow a federal mandate. I am the president of the United States. This is a federal executive order. The Supremacy Clause mandates that you follow what I say. Do I make myself clear? Pam Bondi, DOJ, hold her in contempt. Arrest her ass now. Do whatever you have to do. Contempt, quo warranto, writ of prohibition, whatever you want to do, extraordinary writs. I don't care. Do it. And I want her to be crushed. Crushed. Because what she's doing is, and what Trump needs to do is, she's not doing this because she cares about this. She has, pardon my French, a hard-on for me because she bet her entire political career on putting me in jail or bringing me to justice. Well, I'm bringing you to justice. How the times have changed. We're going to turn this around. I am putting you on notice. I am taking you to court. Me, Donald Trump. You got that? This is personal. So anybody out there, if you dare, if I find out, and by the way, ICE is out there too, if we find out that you are going through with these surgeries, with this procedure, in direct violation of our order, I promise you, as I am sitting here, you will feel the wrath and the full force of our power, the full faith and credit of the United States government on you. Do I make myself clear? He has got to grind her into dust. He doesn't have this. He is not vicious. I would bring in the ninja squad and I would say, ladies and gentlemen, I want her in shackles. I want you to pull a Barry. I want you to investigate her the way she did me. I want you to go through every transaction, everybody put out a bounty. I want her scalp on my wall. Do I make myself clear? Call it what you want. Bring me Letitia James. I want her destroyed. Figuratively, nothing violent, of course, we're talking about this, but I want her to be liquidated politically. This is the only way it works. This is it. He's got to do this, and you better don't bring out these little cupcakes like Alina Habba and all these other folks. Let me tell you something. That Caroline Leavitt is so good. I am so impressed. This is a 27-year-old woman, mother, Christian, respectable. She's not saying, look how sexy I am. Look at me. Am I hot? I can't stand that. She is superb. Let them go. Let me also tell you something, and I told you about this last night, and I'm going to say it again. You are going to be hearing, my friends, people telling you that teachers are complaining, teachers are worried. I talked to a friend of mine. She's a grade school student, elementary school, and kids are freaking out. They don't want to go to school because they're worried ICE is going to get me. ICE is going to get me. ICE is going to get me. Are they illegal? Well, what do you got to worry about? ICE is going to get me. I'm so worried. Why? Because I'm speeding and I just know they're going to get me. Stop speeding. No, you don't understand. I'm from another country. Stop speeding. But you don't understand. I don't have a license either. Get a license. But I don't have a license. I'm not a citizen. Become a citizen. What is this? I don't understand this. You don't understand. I got another friend of mine, nice guy, one of these liberal type, one of these Westchester County types. And when we went over and we sent food, we sent food to this, and the door was padlocked because the people that were ICE. You're giving food to a what? You're giving food to what? You're helping? Who is this? Illegals? Do you know they're illegals? Yeah. So you're aiding and abetting. Are you harboring them? Are you helping to conceal them? You're an accessory after the fact. That's Phil Murphy. That's exactly right. Phil Murphy says, come on in. Yeah, he's got one. You're harboring a fugitive. Couple exceptions if you're, I think, a direct. You are harboring a fugitive. Do it now, ladies and gentlemen. President Trump, you must lower the boom on these people. There can be no exception. President Trump is, I think, a good person. But let me do it. I'll show you how. And I'll do it because I have to. Do you think a doctor wants to do that? Do you think a doctor says, we're going to do an amputation today? No. But it's the last resort. It's a very brutal form of whatever. We have to show people we mean business. We have to shake them. I want to see Letitia James and Phil Murphy, the governor of New Jersey, tremble, shaking with that look in their eye like, oh my God, who's this? This is the new Trump, and we're back. Do you understand what I'm saying? We are back. This is not a joke. We're not kidding around. This is serious business. Do I make myself clear? We are back. And if you think this is some kind of hyperbole or whatever, you don't know me. I'm not doing this just to be mean. You've got to do this. This woman, this Letitia James, is going like this. Nyeh. She's sticking her thumb in your eye. She's doing the Louis De Palma. Nyeh. Break it off in her. Let her know who's boss. Who? Her abortion speech. What was that? Letitia James? Oh, she said she gave her abortion speech. One of these proud abortion people. Oh, we are going to have to destroy these people, ladies and gentlemen. Barry Taylor says another thing. Children haven't developed a sense of identity. Who am I? They have a lot of nerve confusing and they have a lot of nerve confusing and persuading them. Let me explain something to you. It's not that kids aren't confused. It's like they're kids. Let me say this again. It's kids. That's why you want to show kids love. And if Mrs. L and I had a little kid who says, you know what, I think little Lionel here is maybe gay. Okay, don't say anything. Honey, he wants to wear clothes. Okay, women's clothes. Okay, don't say anything. Let's see what happens. That's exactly what we do. Okay. But you ain't going to cut anything. You're not going to give him anything. Remember, I'm saying this. I don't know how I'm going to tell people Ozempic. If you think these people are dropping all this weight and you think this is natural and you think the same people I know say, well, it's CBD and COVID this and that. And the opioid. Oh, you're an expert, and I know about the opioids. Well, what are you doing? Oh, I'm losing weight. What? If you think that, even that, any medication, anything you do, anything runs a risk. Anything. Do I have to tell people this? Leave kids alone. And the whole idea is, I say, yeah, but we got to get them before they puberty, because once they turn, once they become male or female, then they can't. Sorry, they want mutants. I don't know where this is. I don't know if it's part of the deep state, if it's in some castle somewhere, some weird kind of. I don't know. I don't know who these people are. I don't understand it. Don't know. But I'm telling you, there's an evil force here. There's this thing that wants children. Look, I don't give a damn what you want to do to adults. That's fine. You want to come out like a kumquat? You want to use pronoun? I don't care. Knock yourself out. But kids, and one of you very brave people said, yes, you're right. The idea is to lay the groundwork where we destroy the notion of their having to consent, because ultimately it is the goal of these people to marry children. And ultimately, one of these days, you're going to have sex visitation, sex tourism. And you're going to see, it has been the hope to have one day Times Square with people behind glass, like you can pick. You think I'm kidding? You think I'm kidding? These folks, I don't know what the word is, evil, deranged, effed up, depraved, I don't know. I'll let you worry about that. But they have to be stopped and crushed, Lori Reinhardt, thank you, and destroyed. And that's why even that I know you don't care about this, but at the Grammys, when that Bianca Censori, whatever's walking around with her whatever, hanging out, her I mean, it's to shock and to distress. But here's the best part. America's not buying this. Even the Grammys are not buying this. Nobody's buying this. And we're not going back to conservative. We're going back to normal. We're being normal. I'm not a conservative. I'm normal. I'm extremely open-minded. I'm sorry. I tell you, when kids can do whatever they want for the most part. You want to act like you want to wear the spikes. Go ahead. Remember goth? I thought goth was so great with a white face and the black. And what the hell is this? What are you, Vampirella? What are you, Morticia Adams? Whatever. Go. You're not going to cut. No cuts, no hormones, but you can dress like a cactus. You can walk around like a spectator. You can think you're a gondolier in the 15th century. I don't give a damn. Express yourself. You're not going to cut. You're not going to destroy, to ablate, to interfere, to do anything with the word irreversible. Do I make myself clear, ladies and gentlemen? And Donald Trump, this is for you, big guy. Is he not the most wonderful thing? We are so back. So you know what, Tish? You met your match. Watch what Uncle Donnie does to you. All right? It's that simple. All right, my friends. Pilgrim Media, Raul Rodriguez, my friend. Thank you, Barry Taylor. Bookmark, Edie Crowley. We love you. Chuck Landreth, by the way. Chuck Landreth. For the save today. Best question. Cobbs, thank you. Barry Taylor. Lori Reinhardt. Cut Up Chatter says, I'm just old-fashioned. I'm not. No. I am into fundamentals. I'm into, you call it classic, old-fashioned. Nothing old about this. Nothing. I'm not antediluvian, antiquated, or hoary. I'm hoary. Hoary. White with age. Venerable. All right, my friend? That's what I mean. That's what I see. Right here, Tish. That's what I think about you. All right, dear friends. Subscribe to Lynn's Warriors. Great stuff coming out. Live Lynn's Warriors today at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Also later at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm going to be on that maniac, Sean Atwood, in the UK. He's a maniac, and he dances like he's never danced before. A maniac. You're a maniac. He's out of control. I love that guy. We're going to talk about the Grammys and all that stuff too. Anyway, because we're taking it on the road. And I see a lot of our new friends from the UK, a lot of UKers out there, right on, because our heart goes with you. What that Starmer's doing to you, oh, dear God. All right, my friends, have a great and a glorious day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Talk to you later. Don't forget in the meantime, don't forget these words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.